Show us some moves. Show us some moves. Dance, dance. All right. So give us your best Martha Stewart impression. You know, Vanna White. Vanna White? You don't know Vanna White? She's Wheel of Fortune. There we go. Vanna White. The other Vanna White. All right, Evander Holyfield. Evander Holyfield. It goes like this. Look, it goes just like this. Ah!
Is that the one that got Tyson?
Yeah. Welcome back to Ask an Artist, your favorite, absolute favorite internet TV show all about the life and lives of artists. I'm your host, Hayze, and today we have a special, absolute special, beautiful as well, guest with us today. That's the Agent 42, as more affectionately known as Steph. And welcome.
Thank you. This better be your favorite show.
Absolutely. So, as usual, what we're going to do is we're going to do a quick question and answer. You know, I see you peeking. We're going to do some questions, some answers. We're going to talk about what the life and the lives of being a creative is, how we make money, how we do the fun stuff. And, well, the first thing I like to ask is the most important question. Why art, Steph?
It was the first thing that I ever started doing as far as I can remember. I was just like, that's a pencil, that's a piece of paper, all right. That's the first thing I'm gonna do today.
Okay. So you say you started when you were little. About what age did you start painting, drawing, becoming the extraordinaire that you are today?
Like focusing on it more seriously? I think my parents always tried to challenge me a little bit. Like, since I was a toddler, like making a squiggle on a page and saying, okay, turn that into something.
That's a heck of a game.
Eventually through elementary school, middle school, projects, little arts and crafts stuff, you slowly build up that passion for it and start realizing you want to actually do something else with it than just hobby.
You started as a hobbyist. Would you consider yourself a hobbyist today? Where are you right now in your art journey?
I would say a little bit of both. I'd like to keep some of it at least, like still a hobby, so I don't, become jaded. When something you love just turns into work, every day you just start losing that passion for it, and I don't want that. So I do try to keep some of it personal, some of it is for myself, but so much of it right now is just commissions and practicing and an apprenticeship to tattoo apprenticeship.
Oh,
so
wow.
Hopefully that ends up, stemming into a career that's, still art, but it's not, the art I do for myself.
Got you. So
that one's for others.
Wow. So you said a lot of things there. I think that's pretty important. It kind of touches on the idea that you have to have a lot of different streams, a lot of different methods to make money if you're going to be an artist, especially full time. But you also want to keep it personal, right? Yeah. And I think that's really important because, tell me if I'm right or wrong, right? But when you're an artist, a lot of the times it feels like you're just bearing your soul, opening it up naked for everybody to see. And then if they don't like it, oh my God.
A lot of it has to do with feeling.
Yeah.
You gotta feel your way. And even if you're making something up, you have to feel, what would this look like if this were this? And you have to think a lot. So, I mean, it is about being like very vulnerable, about being very transparent in your work. Whether if they don't understand it, then they don't really see those parts that you might be scared of anyway. Maybe you're the only one who really understands what's so vulnerable about it.
Okay.
And if it does connect with somebody, that's a good thing. Then now you've connected with somebody indirectly.
Wow. No, really, I think that's pretty amazing. Honestly, you also brought up that you're working on a tattoo apprenticeship. Yes. And that's like two different things, right? Mm-hmm. So right now, what are you learning in your tattoo apprenticeship that is actually helping you in your art career to move forward? What do you think?
So the building of it, the making of something that's going to form to all the different sizes and shapes that is the human canvas. I forget the word
Mm-hmm.
for it. I'm sure you know the composition.
Yes, yes.
Composition. There's a lot of composition. You can't just, I mean, you could, but you can't really just make something that you think is going to be great and have it, not fit very well on that person's body. You have to think about the canvas that you're using.
Mm-hmm.
And as well as like different skin tones, just different tone of canvas, what color's going to work with what color and, undertones and color theory. And it brings out a lot more that I haven't thought about it in a while.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot. I mean, I think it's pretty interesting because when I started my career, right, I was painting on like t-shirts, right? And so t-shirts are something that go on that body. And of course, when you're painting, you're working, you got to get stuff on the body, right? But I found that the same thing occurs with the medium or the material that you're actually working on. So in your case, it actually is the body. In my case, it was clothing. But it's kind of like how, different surfaces, right? They respond differently to the medium that you're working on.
Like a different technique.
Yeah, and you got to be aware of that, right?
Mm-hmm. Like that corrugated, that shipping container.
Oh yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Sometimes, like, okay, this looks nice up close. This looks nice up close, but how about from afar? Oh, that's not true.
Yeah. So, talking about surfaces in that case, what then would be, I guess, your favorite surface to work on? And do you think that artists have a responsibility to learn to work on multiples, or should they only stay in one space? Like, I only want a tattoo, or I only want to work on canvas. What do you think?
I think that part of it can remain like pretty personal. You don't ever want to you can try to push your boundaries, but if it's that uncomfortable that you don't even want to do it anymore, then you're already taking the passion out of what you're doing. However, I personally, I like trying a lot of different new things. Knowing me, you would know that I've tried so many.
Oh, I know.
I enjoy that. But some people, they find their niche, they find what they're comfortable in. And if that, works for you, especially, you see artists that have all kinds of different backgrounds, but the second they found their niche, they rolled with it, and it worked for them.
Yeah.
And they took off.
Okay.
So it's up to the artist.
I think that that's a really great place to kind of discuss something that I think is really important to me in my art. So I'm going to go ahead and hit you with 2 questions back to back, okay? Number 1, how important is adaptation to your experience as an artist? I personally believe that adaptation is the highest form of intelligence. And since we're artists, we're pretty smart people. How important is adaptation in your practice? And then number 2, okay, darn, I forgot the question. Let's just stick with the how important is adaptation to go.
I was going to say, I'm going to lose my I was going to say very important. For example, again, the spray painting we were doing. If it rains, you got to learn how to work with that. Work as much as you can within that window. Maybe it'll just sprinkle. And if it's drizzling too much and you can't get the paint up there, you better find some other way to be productive. Get your stencils ready, get your colors ready, get your designs ready. Do something, just adapt to the situation. And then, it stops raining, you get a little break, you go right back to the wall.
So this is specifically, you're talking about mural work then, right?
I mean, I think adapting is important in general.
Yeah.
I like it for anything. That was just an example, a good example. As far as anything else, I'm sure I haven't actually tattooed a real person yet. So. Oh
no! You hear that? I'm gonna be the first one.
I need a guinea pig for sure. A guinea pig that's been
anyone. Oh, pick me! Oh, I know, me.
Me has also been not showing up on the days that I'm there.
Oh no.
But one of these days I'll start.
I was having another conversation with another one of my art friends, right? And he told me, I thought it was an amazing, not question, more of a statement. He says, I think that artists are just like their mediums. And, it's all about flow and moving stuff and make sure that you can adapt, right? Exactly, them colors. I thought to myself, I'm very much like that too, right? I can identify with paint in that you can't really make a mistake. You can do something different, but you got to be able to roll with the punches. And I think that's very much my own personality, whereas he's kind of rigid and, very hard to move. So what about you? What do you think? How do you and your mediums kind of match up personality-wise?
I was gonna say I'm already trying to think about that really hard because again I've tried so many different mediums
Mm-hmm.
and I regularly am practicing different mediums. Like I have sketches going, I have paintings going. I was spray painting for a while.
Uh-huh.
So dang, I don't know.
So you're a little bit all over the place, just like your mediums.
Probably.
Versatility.
That would make sense.
Yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool.
Seems accurate.
A couple other questions I wanted to ask you. Do you, as an artist, honestly, believe in talent? And if so, what is it?
To a degree, and it's not really. I wouldn't even say it's the talent of doing the art itself. It's the talent of knowing how to view, and then what's the word I'm looking for? Have the agency to then practice it in a way that matches what you see. Like that's different. It is a different kind of like
Nasty.
I love what you just said.
Like, I don't think it's the talent of I can just paint because I can paint. I think it's you see things a certain way and then you're able to apply it a certain way.
You know, I think that's amazing. Personally, I like to think that, yes, there is talent for artists, and that's all to a varying degree, but exactly like you said, it's not the natural ability to actually paint, right? Or to draw or anything.
I really don't.
Yeah, well, you have to be able to, that's another question, but you have to be able to make bad art, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think that what you just brought up was really, really important. And that is that the talent is not really the ability to draw or paint or something of that nature, right? It's the ability to see it and have a desire to come back to it and do it again and again and again. Now, I may naturally draw better than you, or you may naturally blend better than me. I mean, and it's actually real. You are an incredible blender. And not to say that I draw better, but you know.
It's just applying a matter of perspective. Like I remember when I explained to someone, like you could see a long, long fence. They're like, okay, well, how do you draw it from, you're looking at it this way? I'm like, you make a short line. It's a matter of perspective.
Adaptation.
Yeah.
You know, so in that case, sounds like you've got a lot of advice about how to kind of look at artwork and how to kind of approach it, because you do have experience, you do have talent. Let me ask you, is there a piece of advice that you were given by someone, just that art advice that changed your life or changed how you view what you do?
You have to give me a minute to think about that one. That's hard. I don't have anything that immediately comes to mind.
No pressure.
Blank.
Blank. Well, I can tell you what it was for me.
Okay.
It was,
Like,
as it is for most things, it's don't be so hard on yourself. Okay. You know, a lot of the times we have this desire for everything to be so perfect, for everything to be just right. And what we miss is that the beauty in imperfection, right? I think Bob Ross said it great when he used to talk about happy little accidents, right?
Yeah, there's no mistakes.
No mistakes. No mistakes. I think that, yeah, like I said, the most important part of actually being an artist is just being able to not be so hard on yourself. Give yourself the freedom to make mistakes and make bad art, because you need that space. Art is kind of like being able to sit in a room, a dark room, right? And be comfortable with what's in that dark room. And as you get comfortable, start to recreate lines and just lighten up the room with something new, you know, a new type of alchemy, right? And I think that it's really important to be able to do that. So if you're just trying to make sure that everything is perfect and that you don't make any mistakes, then you don't have that opportunity to find the exploration that is, you know,
the good thing with art is that, like, if you see a mistake, it's really not a mistake to you. If you said this is complete, they believe you. You're the artist. Like, you're the artist.
That is, see, that's your best advice, right? Say that again. Say that. The art advice that changed your life is what?
You, the artist. It's your work. It's complete when you say it is.
Absolutely, absolutely. We got two more questions, okay? How important is it to create bad art for you? Like, is everything that you make absolutely perfect?
No, absolutely not. And I think it's I think that's actually like another piece of advice I've heard that's like not art related, but like life in general, is just like fail on purpose. Like get those failures out of the way, and with every failure you learn. You learn a lesson every time, and you get closer and closer to the end goal, whether you know it or not.
Yeah.
You know,
It's funny. I heard something recently that said that success is not the ability to just plan and execute perfectly, right? Success is the ability to fail and then to not give up after you failed, right?
You just have the agency to keep going.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. I didn't think that so many people, even artists, knew all about that. Huh?
And even with art, if you're struggling with where it's at and you don't like it, just keep going.
Just keep going. Just keep swimming.
Just keep swimming, just keep swimming, just keep swimming, swimming.
So I think this is pretty important. A lot of the times as front-facing people, right? Artists, public figures, whoever, right? We find it that people don't really realize the work that you're doing. It's kind of like the iceberg theory. 80% of the iceberg is actually underwater, whereas 20% is above, right? So tell me about your experience. I think that a lot of people don't know the lonely days as opposed to just those lovely, beautiful days that you're out. How do you get through those? And then also, how does that impact your artwork?
At least with my artwork specifically, I can tell you that I feel like most of my artwork stems from the lonely days, because the lonely days force you to like sit and stay in your head. And even if you want to get out of your head so bad, the more you're in there and the more you're just sitting with all these thoughts, like for me, I'm very visual. I just get a lot of images in my head. So the more I feel, again, it's a very sensitive type of practice. You have to be able to feel something or make someone feel something. Whether you even meant to, it's going to make someone feel a type of way.
Yeah.
So just sitting there with my feelings, I get these visuals, and from those visuals, I'll create something. And it may not even have anything to do with what I was feeling, but it exists now.
It's there now. It's on the page.
It says, "You can't be sad today because I'm coming out."
There's another big word that we deal with that's really tough, right? I think it's probably harder than loneliness. And that is only 2 letters. Can you guess what it is? No. So that being said,
What's that?
no, you don't hear it very much. Damn! So how do you deal with rejection? And do you practice anything to kind of get through it?
Yeah, going right back to the acceptance of failure as part of the journey onto, the next part of your path. That path didn't work out. I'm gonna go down this path and see what's going on over there.
The road less traveled.
Yeah, let's go.
She's a runner. She's a track star. Running.
Why are you running?
Why are you running?
So that being said, we've done a lot of talking right now. I've enjoyed every one of your answers. Okay. Do you have anything you want to share with our guests here by chance? Anything about you? Anything that you're doing? Any upcoming projects?
Well, once I do get my first guinea pig for tattooing, you could meet me at Addictive Ink in Pompano doing apprentice pricing tattoos. Simple tattoos to start, and we'll see where we go from there.
Simple tattoos. It's pretty important. All right.
Complicated stuff that I really want to do.
Yeah.
Just
okay.
Shout out to them. I love them.
As long as you can put up with the pain. So that being said, we do like to go ahead and have a great conversation here, but I thought you might want to get to working. So we got a challenge today. Okay, so now we're going to do our challenge. Have you ever tie-dyed before? No.
No.
Who hasn't tie-dyed?
You're like, you do all these things, but you never tie-dye.
Exactly. You said you were a
never
tattoo artist. You said you were sketching. You said you was out here doing all kinds of things in the streets, except OnlyFans, of course. And somehow, she's never tie-dyed. Ah! All right, so you want to take the stickers
I am
off.
just an extra large child.
All right. And I got a couple other things with us here today. We got some fabric spray. Okay. Different colors, blue, purple, whatever you want, Roy G. Biv, right? And we got some stencils. All right. And you can use the stencil to put something on the shirt beforehand. Probably have to do that off camera. And then we can come back and do our ties. How about that?
Okay.
All right. What we're going to do in this case is I'm going to challenge you, Steph, to who can create the nicest, coolest design, and we'll let you guys vote on it at the end. What do you think?
But you've tie-dyed before.
Please, sir, I want some more.
Excuse me. Only once. Don't be soft, Steph. Let's get to it.
Level player.
Ay, coño.
Stop it. Get some help.
All right, so we've got our contenders ready. You know, I think she's winning so far, but it'll come out in the wash. That's it. We're done for the next 6 to 8 hours.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
I'll be working.
Don't worry. We'll show you what is coming up next. It's gonna feel like it was just yesterday.
Editing.
Editing. All right, so cheers. We did that. Tune in later and you will be able to actually vote and see which shirt you thought was better. I'm sure it's going to be hers, but hey, you know, give me some love. I'm the host, you know what I'm saying? All right, so last couple questions. Just wanted to kind of go over some things with you. I think that a lot of artists, I mean, not just artists, creators, people in general, they deal with this feeling of anxiety around if they're really doing it. And I think they call it imposter syndrome, right? So have you ever felt this? And do you think it's normal?
I feel like I feel it every day.
Oh.
I'm not even a person. I don't even want to be perceived half the time.
Mm.
But you kind of gotta. That's why other people are around. And you know, we're social animals. I'm reminded every day that I do definitely exist.
Uh-huh.
Just the same way that I can be reminded every day by others that, I mean, I am creating something. It does have an effect on them. And they do recognize that.
Mhm.
So, I mean, do you ever really, truly grow out of it? Maybe not. If you've ever practiced any kind of creation of anything, like you are some kind of artist. If you made something intentionally to be something else, you are an artist.
That's a good one. All right, so that being said, it's a lot of things that a lot of artists struggle with, I think, especially myself early on. tell you a story. When I first started painting or drawing or just anything, I hated the way it looked, right? You ever experienced that?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I absolutely hated what came out. I can see what I wanted to paint. I just wanted it so bad. And for some reason, I did not have the tools to do it. Exactly. Right? So I think a lot of artists struggle with this idea of finding a style, right? What is my style? Or in my case, I hate my style, so I gotta pick up other skills to have something else, right? So
I'm in there too. Where like what comes naturally to you just doesn't feel like what you want to make.
yeah.
But you know.
So then,
challenge
what do you
yourself.
think? Yeah. So what do you think is the best way to create a style? And do you think that every artist has a style?
I feel like most do. Going back to certain artists that do have their niche that they found, you know, they've practiced all kinds of different things, but that's something you can do is even if, you know, if you haven't found your niche yet, if you haven't found that thing that you enjoy making the most, because it still has to be enjoyable. It can't just be, this is my style because it works. Like, no, you have to appreciate it for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
If you find that you consistently start liking something you're making and you keep going down that road, you find that niche, cool. But you do have to challenge yourself and kind of branch out a little bit in order to get to that point. You do have to, it's not always going to be easy.
Mm. So that's really good. I mean, that really makes me think about another question here. And we don't have but so much time, but that being said, I guess I'll ask you this last question here because you really wrapped that up. I find that when I'm working with clients, right, new clients or something of that nature, I feel like that really makes me stretch what I'm doing, right? I found that a lot that clients will come to me for one specific type of thing, and then they'll come to me for something else, or then they'll ask me, "Can you just do this?" Mm-hmm. Right? I guess what my question for you is do you find it helpful working with clients, and how do you see that stretching you as an artist? Does it make you better? Does it make you worse? How do you feel about that?
It offers a different view as far as what they expect out of you because they've seen your work, you know, what they think you can do. And it's up to you really, I guess, to challenge yourself and say, like, can I really do it? Maybe I haven't before, but I can try. That's something I say a lot, actually. Working with you, and you're like, have you ever done this? I was like, no, but I can try.
I can try.
And I did it.
Yeah, for sure. I find myself that it actually really I pride myself on versatility, right? Mm-hmm. But I find that it makes me do things that I wouldn't otherwise do.
Right.
It makes me feel like, oh, that is another direction I can chase. And of course, once I've done it, like you said, I've put it in my pocket. It's something that I have. And I think that more than just the actual creative process, the most creative that we can be is really working sometimes with a limited palette, right? Mm-hmm. Because if you have everything you need, mm-hmm. then
and they do kind of limit you a little bit in what they want, which is sometimes frustrating as an artist because we want to do everything.
Yeah.
But it can be good. It can be very grounding, I think, in that sense, to be like, okay, this is what they want. The challenge is to do what they want.
Do it or don't do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I want to thank you very much, Steph, for 42. Steph, you know, the Agent 42 on Instagram and on all other platforms. I want to thank you so much for joining us today on this segment of Ask an Artist. We really appreciate you.
Thank you for having me. Like I always tell you, I'm just happy to be here.
All right. And as always, what do you want? Is there anything you'd like to let the audience know before we go?
Don't be too hard on yourself. Just keep creating. If you don't like it, no one even needs to see it. Just keep trying until you like it. You will eventually if you keep trying.
Message!
Truer words were never spoken. So until next time, always remember, be bold, be creative, be you.